Hi, Bill Henshaw here again. I've had a recent event in the news that's brought to my attention a situation that I've needed to address for some time. And this is, of course, Gay Pride Month, whatever that may be worth. And this is a parade, I think it was in the city of Detroit, although it may have been in Ohio. But the point is that the parade was threatened to be disrupted, and apparently was, by members of the good old Ku Klux Klan. And it was supposed to be, from what I heard, over 150 or 200 of them, less than 10, I think, actually showed up. But they made some very good points as to why, they were against this parade and against what the LGBT community is trying to do here. And I am for the same reason, and it extends to other groups too, and all of which have one thing in common, which I will get to momentarily. But, whether that's religion, whether it's civil rights, I mean, who knows? But anybody that wants to use quote-unquote rights derived from Section 1 of the non-existent 14th War Amendment, what you're really doing there is invoking federal, regional, martial law rule and destroying the existence of the states and the republic, and that's treason to the Constitution. And as far as I'm personally concerned, anyone that does that is not only not my friend, they aren't even a friend to themselves, because when you're doing something like that, you're doing away with the very thing you're trying to get. Now, there may be ways to get rights for all the LGBTs, transgender, what have you, civil rights. There may be ways to do that not related to the 14th War Amendment in a fair political field, where you end up having the consent of the governed. And I'm real big on that. In addition to not wanting to be thought of as belonging to the military, and or having a birthright citizenship which can be revoked by the president without notice based on the stroke of a pen as commander-in-chief of the armed forces. That's not the way we're supposed to be doing business here. It's what I'm fighting with the bastards that are in office now, in the traffic courts, city hall, the governor's office. It's the same argument. So for that reason, I would find myself on the same side as the KKKs. And by the way, there are people that accuse me of being a quote-unquote white supremacist. I plead guilty. I am. But I'm the best friend that a lot of you people are ever going to have because of what I'm doing. And I got a great case if I ever get a chance to, and I could verify it if I can get this person's permission back in Columbia, South Carolina, because when I went in there in the jail, one of the guards and I did not hit it off very well at all. As I'm white, she was black, and I'm sure she got the warning like everybody did in that place I was in. And I was in the wacko ward too, by the way. That here comes the white supremacist, neo-Nazi, this, that, and the other. And a lot of people didn't like me, and particularly this guard. Over the course of 5 months, however, she saw when we had free time, which wasn't that much when you're sitting there locked down 18 and a half hours a day. We'd be out in the general areas, and I'd be helping people with their cases. Often just writing down notes a cappella off the top of my head. And most of them were black. Of course, then again, you had 75% black there, which is not surprising. But that's not what one would expect from a white supremacist. And wouldn't you know, this guard was the last one to walk me out when I finally got out of there on August 2nd. And I looked at her and I said, well, we've sure come a long way, haven't we? And she laughed and she knew exactly what I meant. Because I was a much different person once she got to see me and get to know me than what you would expect. I'm not one of these martial law types or anything like that. But I simply believe in the original tenet of the framers of the Constitution. And that's what they don't want you to know. That's why this issue is so dangerous and so inflammatory. And they talk about the infamous Dred Scott decision, when in pure fact that's one of the best decisions the court ever made, properly understood. And a lot of people will tell you, especially at Harvard and Yale and Berkeley and whatever, that the 14th Amendment overruled Dred Scott. No, it didn't. The amendment doesn't exist, and I can prove it. That's the whole point of what I'm doing is to get things right. Right or wrong or good or bad. I mean, we're the sovereign body politic here. That's the way it is. If you change that, you can only do it by an amendment, and one made in pursuance of Article 5, not in contravention of not only Article 5, but all 6 articles of the Constitution. And that's exactly what happened there. It's beyond any doubt whatsoever. But an issue that actually once did get at least partway before the 9/0 farts. But when they did, as William McArdle could tell you, if people still alive, he got charged with treason because he disagreed in the newspaper with a lot of things the government was doing in Mississippi, and they charged him with treason, and he gets to the Supreme Court. They take the case, Here it decided by 5-3 in his favor, ruling that the Reconstruction Act of 1867 was unconstitutional. And that flat out, although at that time the 14th War Amendment hadn't even been proposed, let alone ratified, that undoes it without any more than that. If that Reconstruction Act is gone, so will the military legislatures that ratified that amendment. That's how serious this stuff is, and it's how serious I take it, and you should too. And get out from under anybody that's leading you in any of these BS, parades or civil rights things or anything else, because they're keeping their positions of power by riding on your backs and not doing much, if anything, for you. Even the occasional gain we might get from cases like this. And by the way, to me, what I just said about Dred Scott earlier, if you want a really infamous case, take a look at Brown versus Board of Education. Supreme Court made it up out of thin air. They didn't base the decision on any provision of the Constitution. And that's what I think T.S. Eliot was describing when he once said that the final temptation is the greatest treason, to do the right thing for the wrong reason. And you can say the same thing, by the way, for abortion rights, quote unquote, as far as they depend on Roe v. Wade. And that's another group I would have serious problems with, despite the fact that we agree with quite a bit of what's going on here. I'm personally in favor of it. I'm not in love with abortion, mind you, but I'm in favor with the individual's right to decide that. I am, but not the way they're doing it. People in that movement, get the hell away from Roe v. Wade. It's about time. The same thing, by the way, to gun rights advocates too, the NRA and so forth. Get the hell away from the Second Amendment. It's not the issue. The Supreme Court said that 130 years ago. Presser v. Illinois, for crying out loud. Get away from it. Present real issues. Get real results. If you do that, we're all going to benefit. Remember to like my videos and to subscribe, and thank you.